Hi guys, it's Paul from Alt Game Reviews again, and today we're talking about Alien Fireteam Elite on the PS5. Is it worth it? Alien Fireteam Elite is a new third-person shooter developed by Cold Iron Studios and published by Focus Home Interactive. I played it on the PS5, but it's also available on the PS4, Xbox Series X and S, as well as Windows. The game's a third-person shooter which can be played online in co-op or solo with bots, and it's based on the beloved Alien sci-fi movie franchise. You fight against hordes of enemies, think World War Z or Gears of War with xenomorphs. Here in the UK it costs £35, but in the US it'll be $40, so it's not a full price game. There's 12 missions to complete in the campaign, split across 4 different acts, each of which are based in different settings. The environments aren't limited to narrow corridors like in the horror game Alien Isolation, with certain levels even incorporating elements from the newer Ridley Scott movies Prometheus and Covenant. There is a vague plot to follow which is delivered via communication with your commanding officer over your voice comms in levels.
Jesus. Wayland moved all the packaging here.
Storage for transport to labs in the core.
You can also explore this in greater detail by talking to the NPCs at your base between missions and through intel you'll find in the game. It's definitely a very loose plot that's used to take you from location to location. However, being a massive fan of the movies, I can never get enough of the world and lore, so I was quite happy to listen through all of the dialogue and to appreciate the art design used in each of the levels. Your first playthrough will probably take around 7 to 8 hours to complete, however you will probably be sticking to one class to do so, as the levels have an increasing combat rating requirement as you proceed. The last act recommends a combat rating of 400, and I was sitting just under this with my medic loadout when I reached it. For the gameplay, players can pick between 4 different classes to try out, with a 5th unlocked after beating the game. They're pretty typical, with a medic, heavy, assault and engineer. Parties aren't restricted to having 1 player per class, so I did find it pretty common to end up in games with 2 teammates rocking the destroyer class, constantly dousing the entire level in napalm with their flamethrowers. I chose to play as the medic for my first playthrough. There's no regenerating health in this game, and players can only hold 1 first aid kit at a time before finding more at a checkpoint, so the trauma station ability came in really handy. Each class has access to different abilities. I'll do a deeper dive into them in a different video, but some highlights are the shoulder mounted micro rockets that the Demolisher gets to use, and the gunner's overclock ability, which increases the rate of fire and reload speed of weapons. The Doc and Technician are limited to a primary rifle and a handgun, whereas the Gunner and Destroyer can use a primary rifle as well as either a close quarter weapon or a heavy weapon respectively. And we're not just limited to the classic movie weapons here like the Pulse Rifle and the Smart Gun, although if we were I wouldn't be complaining as they play and sound great. No, there's over 20 weapons to unlock and try out, either as rewards for completing missions or using credits to buy them in the base's store. These credits can also be used to buy attachments to improve the stats of your weapons, as well as character cosmetics like this sick cowboy hat. After beating the game, you'll be able to play the Horde Mode, which is pretty typical and is exactly as you'd expect. There's plenty of different enemy types to fight here, including grunt xenomorphs, armoured xenomorphs, warrior xenomorphs, facehuggers and even hybrid enemies and synths, which I'm sure Ripley would be a fan of.
You never said anything about an android being on board, why not?
Guys, I just want to say I've been really enjoying playing this game, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone, especially those who enjoy third-person shooters or horde style games. The content on offer is a little light for now, but there is a lot of replayability value with the different classes to try out, multiple difficulties which will really test you and your friends, especially with the friendly fire. However, I do know that the developer has free gameplay updates coming in the future, as well as paid cosmetics, so I'll definitely be keeping a lookout for that. If you do plan on picking up this game, make sure to subscribe to the channel, as I do plan to do some beginner guides as well as a more in-depth class analysis coming soon.